I'm Tom.
And I'm Molly.
Welcome to Friends at Gameology, hosted by MoonlightCrew.com.
Reviews for science.
In 7 minutes or less.
This is a special Kickstarter preview for Kumite. It is on Kickstarter right now, so go check it out. And what you're going to get, or what it is a fighting game. It's a 2-player fighting game with 4 different styles of martial arts.
Well, currently. With stretch goals, maybe more.
Yeah, you can get more stretch goals. So, boxing, Tom has
Muay Thai,
we have karate, and we have taekwondo. And so what this game involves is you have your mat here, and each player starts on opposite ends. Yep, these are nice-looking mat cards. And it's kind of a deck management type game. You start with 3 of these cards, and then you've got a set of blue belt cards out here, a set of brown belt cards, and a set of black belt cards. And so during the game, they're all face up so your opponent can see what's in your deck and what's not to try to combat that. And so throughout the game, you're going to get a certain number of action points. You can purchase, you can move, you can use your cards to fight. So you can pick this card up for an experience, and you can put this card back for an experience. So it's got this mechanic of being able to draw cards like a normal deck building with the not the resource, but with the currency, which is experience. But you can also put cards back from your hand. And so that's pretty much the game. And so you have 4 action points, or stamina. They call them stamina. You have 4 stamina throughout the game, and you do your 4 stamina, and then it goes to your opponent. And whoever dies first loses.
Yeah, whoever gets knocked down to 0 on your 10-point track
gets KO'd. Simplicity versus complexity.
I think this game's a little bit complex. There are several different things you have to keep in mind. Of course, you have your life points, but then you have your experience that you can get, as well as you have stamina points, which are your action point allowance system throughout your turn. You have to get a blue belt card before you can get a brown belt before you can get a black belt. You can buy cards that block on your opponent's turn. You have to you can't just use all 4 of your points to go up for 4 stamina. You have to do something physical as well. So there's some complexity here. But after several games, I think you'll be able to play it without having to refer to the rules.
Yeah, there is some complexity. So it's simple enough, and you've got 4 different stamina, your action points to do things. But what they're allocated to do is a little difficult. There's also a few other actions you can do. Luck versus strategy.
This game has very little luck. It could have a lot of luck if you build your deck that way. If you just buy all the cards, then you'll never know of the 3 cards you draw what you're going to get. But for the most part, I've noticed we have very small decks, mostly to the point where I don't need to shuffle. I could just draw because I know I only have 3 cards in my deck. So there's no luck there. And there's no open, it's all open, so I can just see what Molly has and I can start making plans for that. So I think the luck is very low. There's very little randomness in this game, which makes it all strategy.
Yeah, I would have to agree. If you want to get all of these cards in your hand, then it's going to be a lot of luck because you're going to have your normal deck building type feel where you're going to be drawing and discarding and drawing and discarding. Well, the way this game is, to me, it's more a deck management, which is how they explain it on their Kickstarter, is because I can just put this back and not have it in my hand. So at most, I have 3 or 4. So I think I've gotten up to 5 or 6 cards, but I don't think I won when I got 5 or 6. So when I have 4 cards or less is when it's been great because, like Tom said, you can buy blocks on other people's turns. And so you can just have 1 card in your hand, and then, oh, you're going to hit me? I'm going to use my experience to block that or something. And so I think it's a lot less luck because of that. And you're always trying to figure out what your opponent's doing. If your opponent has his 3 cards that is going to hit you, you've got to adapt, or you're going to die in 2 turns. Because if each card hits you for 2, that's 6. And so so you've got to adapt. And so but you have the ability to do that, so it's not luck, it's strategy. Fun versus boring. I think this game is pretty fun. I think it captures the martial arts feel. Like boxing has a dance move, whereas
mobility.
So I can move, and this is the only card I think in the 4 decks that I've seen that just moves, and it moves too. And so I can move around, and that's how boxing is. They move a lot. They also have a hug, which is hilarious because every time I see boxing, inevitably they start hugging, and so. I'm not familiar too much with it, but I have watched a little bit, and so I think it captures the theme of the martial arts really well.
The fun in this game is the responding to your opponent's
Yeah.
strategy. I like a game where I can just pick my strategy from the outset and go. Well, that's not this type of game. This type is where if I see Molly doing something, I need to respond to the
Yep.
problem she's creating.
Yeah.
And I have cards to do that, but I mean, I've gotten to a point where I kind of get in a rut where I like my 3 cards. I could switch them out, but I don't because I just want to, do my thing. Well, you can't do that in this game. You need to be, you need to adapt all of the time because there's been times where I have gotten the upper hand and my opponent didn't adapt and I just wrecked them.
Yep.
And that was a game over. So in this game, the fun is that you have to try to strategize with what you see your opponent doing and finding answers to the problems they're putting on the table.
Yeah, and that's pretty fun just to figure out, okay, he's going to be doing this every single turn. How can I stop him? How can I make that not happen so I start doing this and start hitting him every turn? So, yeah. Every time, we are friends at Gameology, so every time we get to multiples of 500 subscribers on YouTube, we give away a free glitter painting of your favorite superhero icon. So make sure to subscribe now.
Because it could be you that wins.
Kumite on Kickstarter. We've presented the evidence.
You be the judge.